It's a beautiful morning, and welcome back to the last 2 days and the grand finale to our experience of the Skye Trail. After having seen such a fantastic sunset and moonrise the previous evening, where you last saw us, well me, photographing a beautiful red moon, we're eager to get up and see what's in store as the sun rises.
It's not the best night's sleep I've ever had, but when you're kept awake with red moons, I think I'm prepared to make the sacrifice. What do you think, Dave?
No, it's just kept awake with someone getting up and down all night.
So grumpy.
That's the morning out the tent.
My enthusiasm when I looked out of the tent was in no way diminished. You can't beat a fiery dawn. All grumpiness vanished. So whilst we're enjoying that sunrise and preparing breakfast, here's a quick look at the last part of the trail. We're camped at the southern end of the Trotternish Ridge. On day 7 we traverse the rest of the ridge, drop down to the road and then cross over to walk through the Quiraing. We pitch up just before reaching the tiny hamlet of Flodigarry and then follow the coastline north to Rubha Hunish and the northern tip of the island. But there's a whole lot of scenery to pack in before we get there, so let's go.
Breakfast time. There we are. And away.
And away.
Beautiful day to continue on. Day 7. Skye Trail to Flodigarry. I'll follow you. Over to Torridon. Back up on that ridge is where we spent the night. That's a fantastic landscape. It reminds me a bit, the things you see of Iceland.
There in the distance is the Coolan Ridge.
Through the Glenshiel Hills and then Torridon, and up to the north. And we're headed to Edra.
Whilst hiking along the ridge, we once more met Stuart, the Dutchman we had chatted to briefly the previous day after leaving Portree. I had a good campsite in mind for the end of the day, a lovely loch which I'd noted on my previous traverse of the Skye Ridge. The question now was, who was going to get there first, us or Stuart?
Summit of Edra, the highest point on this ridge.
At this point, Stuart was just behind us, taking a short break, and by now he was aware of the pitch next to the Lochan which I was aiming for, having been told of it by a hiker walking in the opposite direction.
Over there where the cliffs are is the Quiraing, which we'll be aiming for soon.
More islands to the north, Lewis and Harris, and the Quiraing.
Pistachio ice cream, hopefully.
Down to the car park.
Is the Trotternish Ridge done?
Yeah.
Next the Quiraing.
Better be ice cream here, like.
salted caramel, pistachio, chocolate. And then you get a burger van and lots of people. Quiraing next.
.180 as we approach the Quiraing. Just looking back, that one there is Beinn Edra. We've come across that today, and where we were camped last night was over on this far peak on that side, if you can make that one out. Onwards to the Quiraing.
The Quiraing is an 8.5 kilometre area of enormous landslip created over millions of years. It is still geologically active and moves a few centimetres every year, ever closer to the sea. The landslide is the largest of its kind in the UK's history. It was formed by huge quantities of rock which in the Jurassic period fell into the North Atlantic beyond, and is the result of millions of years of compression which ripped apart the landmass and eventually created an immense mass of slowly moving stone. As the continents shifted, huge fissures opened up and molten lava covered the Jurassic rock. Eons after, the weight of the lava flows fractured what was beneath and the whole of Skye tipped eastwards. Gravity caused the land to begin to slip into the sea, creating the formations that we see today, some of which have been given names, most notably the Prison, the Needle and the Table. Whilst admiring the Quiraing with its pinnacles and cliffs, we met Stuart again, the three of us now closing in on that camping pitch by the Lochan. Checking the route a little later, we glanced behind and could have sworn we saw Stuart sprinting along the trail behind us.
Hopefully only about a kilometre from our campsite.
A section of the path to the Lochans below has become dangerously eroded, both of us having to slither on our backsides whilst grabbing hold of the heather to each side of the worn gully.
This is treacherous. You think that section so? Bloody sliding down that scree slope. Lethal. This one certainly needs some repair work, as did the stile before the path. Nearing journey's end on day 7. We're hoping that it's going to be a good pitch at the end of the loch. And there we are, Loch Langaig.
Kilometres.
We have secured our pitch for the night. There was a little bit of a race on. The Dutch guy just behind us, Stuart. We've both been tipped off that this was a tip-top place to camp, and we made it first.
What a pitch! Stuart turned up shortly afterward, wearing an amused smile, and congratulated us on our pitch. He had been slowed down by the Eroded Gully, but thankfully there was more than enough space, and he headed off for the Flodigarry Hotel, looking for a meal and returning much later.
Welcome back up to the Quiraing. The sun's just gone over the cliffs. It's cooled down. It's our campsite at the end of day 7.
See you in the morning.
Good morning on day 8.
Of your arms when you're weary. Go on, lay your wounds on me. You don't know how much I can carry.
And away!
You don't know how much I care. Throw me into the deepest ocean, and I promise you I'll swim.
57A to Portree.
Ah, this is it then. Here's the Flodigarry Hotel, which you can get food at between 10 and 3.
Don't rely on it.
But don't even rely on that. We talked to a Dutch chap we met. He came last night for food and was turned away. He's also told the hostel was closed. Be careful if you read the Skye Trail guidebook, it's not always accurate.
You'll find home. So here we go now, slowly open up your eyes. Let me be your guide.
For the next hour or so, the path hugs the coastline and treats the hiker to some outstanding coastal scenery.
You're the glue for my pieces. With you I know I can grow. Counting days and hours from the distance. 'Cause wherever you are I call home. And all along it's all been making sense. With good and bad still we got no regrets. I've been down, I've been wounded and beaten.
Let's look at this.
But with you, I think I found home. Like every wave will find its way back into the big blue. I will find my way to you, and like a harvest moon, turn from darkness into gold. That's how you know that you found home.
Pigeons in there as well. Pigeons nesting.
Every wave will find its way back into the big blue. I will find my way to you, and like a harvest moon, turn from darkness into gold. That's how you'll know that you found home.
Sea arch there, so we can zoom in, make it out.
I don't know about you, Dave, but I just keep thinking it's a dream.
I might wake up from it tomorrow. Far to the end. I do believe that there might be the Lookout Bothy. There's the end. There's the Lookout Bothy, and I think that's the furthest tip of Skye. we look round the lookout.
Got it to ourselves, I think we can leave our stuff here while
Yeah. Even a bit of a sleeping platform. Your view out to the other side. There we go, little cubby hole. And this is the lookout to the far north. Is that 5 foot lathe?
All that now remains is to find the descent gully which gives access to this beautiful peninsula and the northern tip of the Isle of Skye.
We're headed down there, which looks rather magnificent. Down here we go, down the final gully. And this is the finish. And a very popular climbing area. The way in and out of here is across this ledge to where that gate just sits in the col. You can make out there in the col there and come down. Lookout Bothy's back over here. There's a very narrow gully near that. That's not the way down. You see the ramp there. Looking back to the Lookout Bothy, I'll just zoom in a bit, you might just make it out. It's right on the tip of the cliff there. Nearing Journey's End. Let's look into the furthest point north across there on Skye. The end of our trail. A short walk back to Flodigarry. Bus journey home.
How deep it is.
Cheers.
And clear. And away.
And away. After 104 miles walking from the southern tip of Skye, we have reached a point to which we can go no further. This is it, end of the trail.
Our final lunch.
It is. Feels magnificent.
Perfect spot, isn't it? What a way to finish.
And across to Lewis Harris.
Better than the Cape Wrath in the end.
Yeah.
But then it couldn't have been more perfect, could it? The weather has been absolutely perfect. It's just a complete assault on the senses every single day, every hour, every day.
Had a boat to keep going.
Go out to the Outer Hebrides.
Just need a boat. Some new feet.
So here it is, the end of the trail. But it's not over yet. We still have to hike back up to the top of the cliff and make our way south.
Now the long journey south and back home to the next adventure. What a magnificent location to finish.
Stuart is waving at us from the Lookout Bothy above. And you still haven't met him yet, so let's get going.
The route back out. Final groove out.
Say yes, rather than no.
Just at this gate. Lookout Bothy.
Keep the loved ones close enough. Rain and fire, highs and lows, you name it.
And we've made it. Famous red foam box.
The world goes by, and by the time it does, you miss it.
And now back to Flodigarry. 4 miles of road. The never-ending road. Road, and more road.
And so, after a 4-mile walk and one more night by Loch Langaig, we complete our 8-day dream-like hike from the Point of Slate to Rubha Hunish.
And always without campsites, not a trace.
It just could not have been better. And yet we had one more treat in store. If you watch my Cape Wrath Trail series, you may well remember me introducing a very special friend. Willie Nicholson still lives in the hamlet of Camwasliney and once was at the heart of the Cape Wrath Trail scene in this area, with many hikers taking a night in his bothy. Willie doesn't own the bothy anymore, but he was and always will be the most likeable, generous and amusing character on earth. If you're watching, Willie, you're still number one. And we had arranged to meet him, along with his wife Sheena, in Broadford for lunch. We couldn't wait to see them both once more. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the hike, and thanks yet again to Willie and Sheena for taking the time to meet us once more. I'm going to miss this. The sunshine, the seabirds, the cliffs, the teetering pinnacles, the friendly people of Skye.
I like to think I'm quite smart.
I'm going to miss opening that tent every morning to be greeted by a glowing sunrise, and I'm going to miss the moonlight photography sessions. It seems a long time since I was clicking my heels in our back garden. There's no place like Skye. I think I'll miss you most of all, Willie Nick.
I will miss you too soon.
Thank
Come
you.
back soon.
You
I like
both
to think I'm quite smart.
Thanks Willie and Sheena, thanks Dave, and thanks to all my subscribers who keep me going with this channel. It's a labour of love. Cheerio!